It's a huge privilege for me to be representing the Red Cross this evening, particularly with my passionate, committed interest in the field of HIV and AIDS. I first discovered the sub-Saharan African pandemic in 2003 when I had the opportunity to visit Cape Town, when I was invited to be part of the launch of Nelson Mandela's 46664 HIV/AIDS campaign. And it was through that experience that I was invited to go to various places, clinics, hospitals, orphanages, people's homes, and see for myself the human side of HIV. And it was something that I could not have imagined. The statistics on HIV are absolutely horrendous. So many millions of people have died. Those names and those faces tend to be invisible because of stigma. And I'm sure many of you here that are involved with the hospitals and understand just how complex that whole situation is. So since 2003, as I said, I've been really committed to becoming involved in HIV and AIDS campaigning. And I traveled to South Africa many times and personally, as I say, witnessed how children in particular are being involved. And it's a thrill to be here to launch the Wellington campaign, because they will be focusing particularly on children in KwaZulu-Natal. KwaZulu-Natal, as some of you may know, is one of the most affected areas in Africa when it comes to HIV/AIDS. Of the 5.5 million people that are carrying the virus, 4 million people are living in KwaZulu-Natal. I'd just like to carry on and just give you an example of one of the children that I met who turned out to be very important to me, very significant. She's one of the millions of children who are currently living with HIV, and her name is Avalile. And if you can see, I'll hold it up for you. This is a picture. Can you see it? Can you see this picture? Right at the very back, can you see this picture? This is how Avalile looked. She's a 7-year-old girl. And that is Avalile with full-blown AIDS. She's suffering from pneumonia. And when I met her, she weighed almost the same as a bag of sugar. I mean, she was really skeletally thin. I'm sure that many of you will be aware of children like this, who look like this, but many of you will have probably dealt with children like that. Now, there was a kind of special thing that happened with Avalile, because she actually got access to treatment and good medical care and good nutrition. And I went back to see her 6 months after I first encountered her looking like a skeleton. And I'd love to share the image of Avalile as a healthy child 6 months later. And it's great that you're clapping, that you appreciate that. Because, you know, I also want to jump up and down and clap when I see a child going from that so close to death and that magnificent transformation that I know can happen with the right kind of intervention, with the right kind of steps. And it's this kind of work that I so fully endorse and support. It's this kind of work that happens with wonderful organizations like the Red Cross. And in a moment, you're just about to see a short video piece that will highlight for you the great work that they are doing and the sort of things that need to be achieved. I believe that women and children should have the right to proper, decent medical care, life-saving medical care, things that we don't even know about in the West. We take utterly for granted. You know, we think that it's a given, that, you know, we have hot and cold water running out of taps. We are used to having good treatment. We're used to having education. These things are not a given in a country like KwaZulu-Natal. And I've seen it for myself. And as a mother with children myself, one of the reasons, the motivating factors in my campaigning work is that I wish to see the right of all women and children to have access to decent nutrition and to good medical care. So I'm sure that you will all agree with me on that. And so just before I step off the stage and you're just about to see this video piece, I'd just like to say that the Wellington £1 million appeal for 2010, there'll be some of these brochures are going to be outside in the foyer there, and please do take a moment to pick one of these up. You know, the appeal will last for a whole year. There's 12 months in a year. We kind of worked out that it really roughly means that we'll need to sort of create £100,000 for every month. That's quite a challenge for some of you. And so I'm really appealing that you dig deep, that you can make a tremendous difference to thousands of children's lives. So without further ado, I think I've said my piece. Please watch the film. I hope it affects you enough for you to reach into your pocket, get your checkbook, and make a financial commitment to the Wellington appeal. Thank you so much.